So, Shazia, I'd love to talk with you about the impact of pressure. And I'm thinking of a couple of examples. I'm thinking of the classic example is a sporting example. I don't know, let's take a sport, like, I don't know, the football and the World Cup final. And there I am going out for the first time to play in the biggest game on earth. And I how I play all comes down really to my ability to deal with deal with pressure, whatever it is that is, and that's what I'd like to explore. Because I can go out there and have the game of my life and like become like an amazing hero. I think I'm a bit old for it myself, but anyway, let me keep dreaming. And the other option is I go out and I'm in the tunnel before I go out. I'm like, and I don't, and I'm the goalie and I let a couple of goals in because I'm like not as nimble and as I used to be. No, not as I used to be. I don't mean that. No, it's not as nimble as I normally am because I'm feeling the pressure. So, and this obviously is relevant in the business world. And one of the classic examples in the business world is presenting in board meetings on complex topics or really significant issues. And I've got a team at the moment I'm working with um, in a large corporate, and um, I'm just about to do some work with them. And the biggest issue they've got is feeling the pressure presenting at the board. And the board are known to be very challenging, fair, but very, very thorough and very detailed and very challenging. And it's difficult for some of the people to do that. And so they hate it. They don't sleep the night before. They worry the night after. And actually what I'm hearing is they're like a fraction of who they really are when they go and present. They're a fraction of it. So they look really quite mediocre when actually they're exceptional people. And it's a travesty. I mean, it's kind of crazy, really, but it's a travesty. And so, what I want to look at is a topic I know you and I are very aligned on is like, well, what is this thing called pressure? And of course, pressure is what is generated through the mind's thinking. So I'm going into this board meeting and I've got a story that this is an important topic, and I've got a story that says the chief exec's going to be really challenging. I've got a story that I don't know about how I'm going to do, or I don't like this situation, etc., etc., etc. And what I find myself wrapped up in is just a multitude of thinking that then has me show up this certain way. Yeah, and so what would it be like if we could let go of all that?
Mm.
What would it be like if I guess like we're talking about flow, what is flow? And like hopefully well, I know we're an example of this now because we're just in flow. And we could have turned up to this with some thinking that said, oh my God, millions of people are going to listen to this. We better get it right. Do I look okay? How am I going to speak, etc. And of course, all of that then shuts down this natural ability to just tune into what there is to share.
Yeah.
What would you like to say on that?
Well, I would like to invite the listener right now to think of a time where they felt like they were unstoppable, or when, that feeling of just being on fire, like, oh, I'm on fire today. Or, you just came up with a really great idea as if out of nowhere, like a really complex problem that you've been struggling with for a while, like the idea just popped into your head, or a really simple idea that popped into your head that just felt like, oh, that came out of the blue. We'll all have our own experience of that. That, to me, is the answer to what you're sharing here. There is something inside, some pool of resourcefulness that we have access to that when tapped into,